Hey everyone, it's Nicholas Wilton at Art to Life. Um, my dad used to tell me this story about when he was this little kid, little boy, 9 years old, and he grew up in England. And it was during the war, and it was the pretty grim times. They didn't have a lot of money, and he would meet his dad, and his dad worked for this gas company, and you'd walk home with him every day, and my dad, his birthday was coming, his 10th birthday, and he wanted, he had seen a pair of roller skates in a store window. And so he was always trying to get his dad to take kind of a slightly longer way home so he could point out these roller skates, right? And my dad, he went to, we kept going to this window, checking it out and staring, dreaming about these roller skates. And he tried to get his dad to go, but his dad was always too busy to like take the longer road home. And he finally got him to go by the window, and he pointed him out. And it's like, this is what I really, I love these. And, trying as hard as he could to plant the seed that this is really what he wanted for his birthday. And, he kept thinking about it and wanting this to happen and dropping hints and dropping hints. And I think he got his father to see these skates a couple times in the window, but his dad never really said that these were, he didn't have that kind of relationship. It was just more formal. But his birthday finally came along, and his father gave him this present. It was this big box, and my dad thought for sure that it was the roller skates, right? And so he's so excited, and he opens it up, and it's all this wrapping paper, and he opens it and opens it and opens it and opens it. And as he's opening it, his dad says, "This is something you can use to like make a living for the rest of your life, something like this, But the package got smaller and smaller, and he opened it up, and it was a pencil, and it was. That's pretty devastating for a kid, but I never forgot that story. And it was such it was just really explained the relationship of his father, really practical. And, my dad was an artist, so, of course he used this pencil and everything, but it was such a letdown. But it really spoke to the kind of the stinginess of his father. And my dad kind of inherited a little bit of that and was, he was a little more reserved. And I remember on my 21st birthday, he gave me, I think it was like $1,000, which was like huge. And, that was amazing to me, because now you kind of know where my father came from, the background of that. So and that was very moving for me, because it was like, wow, for his birthday, he got a pencil, so, but the reason I'm telling you that story is because when you listen to it, you get to empathize, and you understand who that is, that person, my father, and you connect emotionally to it, right? And so that's really different than like if I held up a picture of my dad. So what I'm wanting to share with you, and I talked about this in the preamble in the email, is if we can start telling stories, if we can determine the stories around our art and share that, use those stories, use those ideas, and think about what it is we're making and how that fits into the story in your life, and share that with people, you connect with them on a whole nother level. And it's really, really powerful. And believe me, people buy work not just because they like the colors. They buy it because they buy your story, and they feel connected to you. So to create that connection, use that form. Storytelling, we're all hardwired to be riveted to stories. That's how all information was traded and shared, like since primitive times, sitting around a campfire. That's why when we hear a story, our ears perk up, and we're engaged, and we're listening to it. That's why when I tell that story, you hang out till the end of it. If I was just going on and on, it's different. So stories are really, really powerful. So I thought I would just share and I don't have a really clear story. You don't have to have a perfectly clear story, but I'm figuring it out on my work. And so my inviting you to think about your work this way and start talking about it this way and sharing it this way. My work, how I think about it, and this is my kind of picture of it, is I think about these as visual poems. The paintings for me feel like life. These are how I experience life, in that it's not just one thing. Like when I look at something or I meet someone or I'm talking to you right now, I'm also aware of like the light reflecting in the window. I'm hearing noises also. I'm noticing the bright red of the palette. And I'm talking to you and I'm looking at Ferris and I'm looking at his shirt and the palette. There's many things happening simultaneously. There might be one primary thing, but my experience of how it feels to be alive is many things happening on many levels. And so I try to have that in my work, where there's things that are really quiet, like that quiet conversation, things that are really loud and noticeable. Journey, it's like a journey, and there's a visual traveling that I'm inviting the viewer to experience, that they move through their day, they move through life. Like this is a journey, it's like a map, and there's different experiences along the way. And when all those things are balanced, and it's arbitrary, or it's more of just a feeling to me of what feels balanced, out of control, in control, all these contrasts, that's when the painting for me feels finished. And so that's the sort of story of where my work is right now, and that's kind of how I describe it, as visual poems. And it's very musical, all that information. So it can be helpful to think about your work in this way and to share it. So that's sort of the idea and what I've been thinking about and writing about this week. I'd love to hear your comments and maybe share with what's that 4 or 5 sentences to describe your work and what you're doing. You might be surprised if you start thinking about it in this way, that your work becomes easier to figure out and to develop and to strengthen, because you have like a clear message and you can push your work even further. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I look forward to talking to you guys and reading all your comments. Thanks so much.